Rawteur. Do you feel like Disney Plus ruined Marvel, Star Wars, even Pixar? I mean, these were the gold standard. Now you've got people online who can't stop talking about how they've fallen apart. And it's not just the writing, not anymore. It's the entire business model. See, Disney took every angle and wore people out. Look at Marvel. 5 years before Disney Plus, they put out 14 movies and made $22 billion worldwide. In the 5 years after Disney Plus, they released 13 movies and made just $10 billion. Around the same amount of movies, less than half the cash. Pixar did the same thing. In those same pre-Disney Plus years, their movies earned about $5.7 billion. But after Disney Plus, they made around $2.7 billion. Same number of films, but the drop was huge. And if you'd like to add some insult to injury, search Fantastic Four Week 2 and you'll see what happened. A massive 66% drop in box office revenue. Some of that is of course to be expected, but a lot of people just don't feel like rushing to the theater anymore. They wait. And that's because Disney has trained them to. See, every time Disney Plus dropped a big Marvel or Star Wars series, it chipped away at what made theaters feel necessary. Because we have movie quality shows with Oscar-nominated actors hitting the couch, right? People got used to it. So when a new release came around, it didn't feel urgent. I mean, let's be honest. The average movie date in California anyway, with 2 drinks, popcorn, tickets included, of course, is about $60. That's 4 months of Disney Plus for a 2-hour movie. So it makes sense to wait. So yeah, people wait. But here's the truth. Disney executives are finally admitting it. Kevin Feige, who built the MCU, said the expansion devalued the Marvel brand. It was too much, too fast, and the company's mandate put them right in the middle of it. And it makes sense. I just said that in the past decade, they released 27 films. That's almost 3 movies a year. And that's not including the TV series. So, I mean, yeah, right? Now, here's what Disney doesn't want to talk about. The streaming numbers aren't what they hoped for. And when these shows don't land, they drag the rest of the franchise down with them. Let's take Marvel again. Loki was the biggest Marvel series on Disney Plus, pulling in 2.5 million households for the premiere. That's the high point. Everything since then has been a steep drop. Secret Invasion pulled just under 1 million. She-Hulk did 1.5 million, Moon Knight landed at 1.8, and Ms. Marvel, 775,000. That's the bottom. Then they took those same underperforming characters and moved them into a movie, The Marvels, which barely made it past $200 million worldwide. That's not bad luck, that's cause and effect. When shows underperform, people assume the characters don't matter. So when those same characters show up in theaters, audiences stay home. One producer even said it out loud. The Disney Plus shows were mediocre, and that pulled the whole brand down. Secret Invasion didn't just flop. It made people question everything Marvel had planned next. What used to be Marvel's biggest strength, the connected universe, became a huge problem. Miss one show, and the next movie doesn't make sense. So people stopped keeping up because it stopped feeling worth the effort. I mean, shoot, I know I did. I missed a number of shows. It was just too much. And then Star Wars ended up in the same spot, just with different numbers. One thing that I forgot to mention is that you didn't clap the like button. Thank you. The Mandalorian kicked things off strong. I mean, it helped launch Disney Plus and actually earn the hype, but every show after that dropped off hard. The Book of Boba Fett had way less demand. Over 75% less than Mando in its first couple weeks. Global demand dropped by more than 100%. It still pulled decent viewership, but the quality tanked. Critics gave it a 66% and audience score was about a 49. And of course, we're talking Rotten Tomatoes, which, you know, grain of salt. Then there's Andor. People love to say it's one of the best things Star Wars has done in years. Critics loved it, but the numbers didn't reflect that because by the time Andor came out, the audience had already been burned too many times. They stopped trusting the brand. Even The Mandalorian started to fade. The season 2 finale brought in 2 million viewers. Season 3's premiere down to 1.5 million. And that's their flagship show losing steam. That kind of drop affects every other project around it. This isn't complicated. Disney flooded the platform with content to keep subscribers happy. Some of it was solid. Most of it wasn't. And when you keep releasing average, the stuff that is great gets ignored. And it's expensive. Andor cost $650 million. That's blockbuster money. Summer blockbuster. Y'all remember that phrase? The summer blockbuster, $650 million for a show that didn't even come close to Mandalorian numbers. Disney built a system that demands constant content to hold subscribers' interest. But every miss makes the next project harder to sell. That's not a curse, that's a feedback loop. They meant for these shows to build hype for the movies. Instead, they lowered expectation and trained people just to wait. So, you shouldn't be surprised when I say this goes way beyond just content overload. The real issue is how Disney's entire business structure is set up. It's not built to protect the story, it's built to protect the brand. And that's a problem when you're making entertainment. Everything inside Disney is connected. The movies feed into the merchandise, feeds the parks drive promotion, and all that supports streaming and music and everything else. On paper, that looks efficient, but it also means every creative decision has to pass through multiple departments. It's not just what makes the best movie, it's what helps the toy line, what boosts the park, what fills the Disney slate for the next 5 years. That's how you end up with stuff like the Marvels. Captain Marvel made over $1 billion in 2019. That movie should have gotten a straightforward sequel. Instead, she gets folded into a team-up film with 2 characters most people barely know, Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau. Both of them came from underperforming Disney Plus shows. That wasn't a creative choice, that was a spreadsheet decision. Disney had already invested in those characters, already built the toys and marketing. They needed to justify it, so they pushed it into a theatrical release and hoped people wouldn't mind. But they did. The movie felt like homework, it bombed, and that's not on the actors or the fans. That's a system that prioritizes synergy over sense. Common sense, obviously. The same thing's happening with Star Wars. Greenlighting shows not because they're great stories, but because they can sell merch, keep the parks fresh, and support the next wave of Disney Plus ventures. This synergy model worked when Disney was releasing a few projects a year, but now it's everything, everywhere, all the time, and the cracks are showing. Pixar also got hit hard. Soul, Luca, and Turning Red weren't small movies. They were solid emotional stories, but Disney shoved them straight into Disney Plus. Not because of quality, but because they needed content to feed the platform, and they didn't want to compete with their other theatrical releases. But the audience didn't know that. What they saw was Pixar movies skipping the theater, and they assumed that meant those films weren't worth paying for. That's how you take one of the most respected animation studios in the world and train your audience to wait to watch it for free. Disney built a structure where every project has to carry multiple agendas, support streaming, sell merchandise, boost the parks, and still somehow tell a good story. But that last part is the one that keeps getting compromised. Bob Iger even admitted it. He said the rush to prioritize Disney Plus diluted focus and attention. And sure, now they're pulling some movies back into theaters. Lilo and Stitch made over $1 billion, Moana 2 is tracking strong, but moving a few titles around doesn't fix the core issue. This isn't just about how many shows they're making. It's about why they're making them. The entire business model, the synergy model, is working against the creative process. Disney turned franchises into factories. The magic, the excitement, that once in a while feeling is now gone. What used to feel special now feels scheduled. They didn't lose that overnight. They bled it out over years. The worst part, they still think the fix is make fewer shows, but that's not enough. The real fix means stepping back from synergy, and I don't think they're ready to do that, because the truth is Disney Plus did exactly what it was supposed to do. It got subscribers. It kept Wall Street happy. It connected every division of the company. It just wrecked the part people actually cared about: the story. So, are you still showing up for Marvel, Star Wars, or Pixar movies in theaters, or have you already moved on? Let me know in the comments, and for more videos just like this, check out this one right here.